Spartans, welcome back. I appreciate each and every one of you for being on this journey with me. Now let's dive in. This is the quiet truth most men feel, but almost none of us ever speak out loud. Adulthood comes with emotional contracts men never actually signed, but are expected to honor. These contracts shape marriages, relationships, fatherhood, and the very identity of a man. And I learned this the hard way. Not because I was weak, but because the expectations were never spoken, only assumed. In adulthood, a man becomes the stabilizer by default, and that's a man's nature. Not because someone asked, but because chaos always falls on his side of the table. Hold the finances. Hold the emotions. Hold the responsibilities. Hold the direction of the family. I carried that contract in my marriage, working 2 jobs, managing long-term goals, planning a future while trying to keep the present from collapsing. But here's the truth. Most men never knew this role came with no breaks. Adulthood teaches men something quietly. Your emotions are secondary to the mission. If she's overwhelmed, you absorb it. If the household is unstable, you anchor it. If she needs reassurance, you supply it. If something breaks, you fix it. And none of this is ever verbalized. It's just assumed that the man will endure. And men accept this until the weight becomes too heavy to hide. As men, we don't just live in the present. We live years ahead. We think in terms of legacy, investments, risk mitigation, and how to protect our families long term. You opened investment accounts for your children. You planned the future. You carried the vision. But adulthood teaches men this brutal truth. When you're the one thinking 5 years ahead, you're also the one blamed for the sacrifices required today. While she had a mother and siblings, friends to talk to, you had silence. Not by choice, but because men quickly learn that vulnerability is often misunderstood, minimized, or dismissed as weakness. So you become the quiet warrior, the man carrying storms without witnesses. But the cost of silent resilience is always paid later, in exhaustion, in burnout, in questioning your own worth. When impulsive spending collided with your long-term planning, you carried the imbalance. When lifestyle desires overshadowed financial discipline, you adjusted your work hours, not her expectations. And this is something men need to hear. In adulthood, imbalance is rarely corrected by conversation. It's corrected by the man quietly absorbing the cost. In many relationships, the man becomes the emotional shock absorber. Her stress becomes your responsibility. Her worries become your reassurance. Her dissatisfaction becomes your task to fix. Meanwhile, your stress has no landing place. Your fatigue has no audience. Your internal battles remain invisible. This isn't villainizing women. It's naming a dynamic men live through without language. As a father, you weren't just raising children. You were shaping the image of what a stable family looked like. Showing up to classes, games, supporting their growth, creating a safe, emotional framework, all while working. And yet, no one teaches men this. The image a man protects can drain the man himself if the partnership behind the scenes is no longer aligned. Eventually, these these invisible agreements start taking something from you. Your energy, your identity, your self-respect. You watch your health decline, your weight change, your mind spiral, your sense of worth erode. Not because you failed, but because you carried too much with too little support. In many marriages, the breaking point doesn't come from betrayal or failure. It comes from emotional depletion. When she said the words, "I'm not happy," that wasn't just the end of a relationship. It was the end of an agreement you never got to renegotiate. Men often discover the marriage is over at the same moment they realize how much they silently carried. Divorce forces a man to see the contracts he upheld alone. And rebuilding after that. Couch surfing, grinding, working, stabilizing becomes the process of reclaiming yourself. Spartans. That's not weakness. That's awakening. The man who survives the collapse becomes the man who rewrites the rules. In the next episode, we're diving into something even deeper. How emotions are shaped, influenced, and sometimes manipulated in adulthood, and how men unknowingly absorb guilt and responsibility engineered by expectation. Stay with me, Spartans. I hope my experience is illuminating these hidden agreements. I hope you're able to break the unseen chains and you begin to build a life on your own terms, not on the contract society handed you.